Welcome back to the Smite Console League. Finch here, joined by Tom F. DaveJr. Happy to have you here with me. Have you cast any Smite yet today?
Nah, I haven't yet. Pretty fresh, ready to go.
Ready to go.
Excited to see some long games.
Yeah, I'm excited for some games coming through too, but you might want to switch out your Xbox controller for a DualShock for this one. PS4 is what's on the menu now as we transition over. I believe it's Bulldog up against Imnsonia, who are going to be with a slightly different look, I imagine, here, so we'll see how that ends up working.
Yeah, excited to see how these different teams come out. Here we're pretty deep into the season, or a split rather at this point, 4 weeks in. So teams have kind of really been developing their own little takes on the game. And I've been eager to watch these teams because PS4, brand new league.
That's right. We still don't really know too much about them. As we go ahead and take a look at the schedule, it's still hard, I would say, to say who favorites are going into matchups. We got to get more, I feel like, more information than ever to really know for sure. But right now, we got Bulldog against Imnsonia, excited for that one. Then Coalition up against Strictly Business, another big set that's going to be happening later on in the day. But we're starting with Bulldog and Imnsonia. It hurts my heart, by the way, playing Ducks lost off broadcast. Best logo in the league.
I don't know. I'm looking at Bulldog. They have a Bulldog.
It's just a dog. Yeah.
I like Bulldogs.
It's just a dog.
But it's a Bulldog.
Yeah, but playing Ducks has those cool glasses. Or whatever you call them, goggles. They're sick.
That is cool.
Yeah, I agree. And they're like that profile to the side doesn't care about you or whatever else is going on.
He's just like,
sick. Yeah, it's just like, we'll just play some games. How about you all come to HRX?
That's a pretty cool plan.
Yeah, it's going to be happening in November.
Oh, 16th through the 18th, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. Go to hi-rezexpo.com, pick up those tickets. Absolutely make sure that you're here. If you have the means, if this is something you can do, then I will accept no excuses. Be there. Come to HRX. Hang out with Finch, hang out with Tom, all your favorite personalities, streamers, players, all that stuff. It's just 3 days chock full of huge action.
And then, of course, after the fact, there's the after party, something you should attend on Sunday. HRX after party at eventbrite.com. And you can get yourself in there as well.
Yeah. Is that something that you do? Do you like partying?
I do like the after party. It's really fun. There's skee ball. There's laser tag. There's even a rope course for you to play on. So there's a whole lot of things there at main event. Definitely don't want to miss it.
It's like kind of scary though. Like you can just see straight down. You might fall. I guess if you're someone who enjoys that kind of thing.
Or you can also just stand on the floor and talk to the favorite people that you met that weekend.
But you talked about the other I'm going off what you said.
There are multiple things to do. It's a lot of fun. That's why I implore you to come to the after party.
You should come, absolutely. It'll be a ton of fun. But again, we got action happening here today. Bulldog up against Imnsonia. Game 1 about to get underway, but we're starting with those picks and bans. That's a real dog there?
That is a frightening Bulldog. He's got red eyes, like
that's normal.
A demon.
No, that's normal.
What
is this? What is Imnsonia? It's like a moon, maybe?
I mean, that's the thing that you see that keeps you from sleeping at night. This, like, gear cog thing.
I don't know how true that is.
I mean, I guess it depends on who you are.
No, it doesn't. I don't think that matters at all for it in any capacity.
I think that that keeps me up at night. Okay,
it'll keep you up at night. And Chernabog is going to be banned on out of here. That's the right call. A little bit too strong. Wouldn't be surprised if we see the likes of Freya joining him, getting banned out as well. There's a Baron certainly makes some sense. Some of these gods you don't want to deal with.
Chernabog probably the reason behind a lot of people's insomnia. Living nightmare.
He is a living nightmare.
Being quite problematic.
He's not, though, a weird gear moon. So you know what I mean?
That
makes more sense as a logo than I'm not in charge.
It doesn't actually, because you can't draw Chernabog. Imnsonia get a ban on another character.
He's literally, that's the only way he exists. Is as drawn.
That's true. That's very true.
Cerberus gonna come in. The Bulldog's getting a dog. That makes sense.
I like that.
And he's got multiple heads. That's huge synergy there for Bulldogs. Freya gonna be on the other side though, not teaming up with Cerberus this time.
I do like that selection of the Freya more so than the Cerberus.
Yes, I'm curious about that. Really.
I think it's odd to see Cerberus first pick overall. Very, very interesting to me. I need to see an extraordinary performance in order to justify this.
We'll see if that's going to be the idea. It should give them some pressure wherever they like to put it. Putting that right with Agni. I do like those two together. Cerberus definitely going to be setting up for this Agni.
Agni comes with long-range stun or long-range damage and can even set up for his teammate. So I'm seeing stuns into ultimate, into more bombs. Anhur going to fit into that conversation even well.
That's right, especially with that gas and breath. Shredding them protections, making life easier for my boy. Anhur going to come in as well. Very strong. Feels like kind of early to mid-game presence for him in that hunter role. Up against the Jing might not have as much opportunity to pressure. He's so safe. We'll see if he can find it.
Jing does very well against Cerberus when he picks the Hunter up with the ultimate Stygian Torment. She can just zoom on out with agility, no problem whatsoever. So a nice look there as Jing is selected. Susano even as well, I think does well against what the Bulldogs want to do. Agni very mobile, Anhur very mobile, Cerberus very mobile. Susano can follow them right up with the dot teleport.
Yeah, it shouldn't be any problem for him to try and track them down. It's a ton of control in these team fights too, which they are a bit light on at this moment. I mean, yeah, they got the Banish there, and the knockup of Jing, but those aren't as reliable as like the Pull, as the Typhoon, as Terra can be in some fights. So they've already got their damage, now they got some tools to help line them up.
Terra is going to provide some extra damage, as you mentioned, also some survivability as well. Yeah. Terra Ultimate Earth and Fury, one of the go-tos, one of the best ultimates when it comes down to raw team fight potential. And against the selections like Agni and Cerberus, who provide damage over time, you're going to pop those stones very quickly.
It is pretty curious, though, right, that you ban out 2 junglers that aren't Serqet, and then Serqet gets picked. So I guess it's not curious if you're Bulldog, you just pick it up. But I mean, I don't know. Serqet's pretty good.
So yes, she's good, but there's good and different different roles that they follow.
Sure.
The 2 junglers banned out by Imnsonia, Ratatasker and the Fear No Evil Machine. Both of those characters are fantastic at secondary follow-up, right? So Cerberus and Agni are going to look for an initiation, and then Bulldogs, if they had those 2 characters, would have a fantastic secondary follow-up as well, and also can punish Freya when she hits the ground really strongly. Serqet, single target character focus for the most part. So Insomnia is saying here that they can handle a pick-based composition, but more team fight prowess is something they want to keep in check.
Trying to take that back, and they picked one of the best at it themselves with that Sobek to round out their draft. But who do you think's going to win? Go ahead and vote for us now. Give us your thoughts as we move right into the action. Bulldog with the dog himself, DaveJr. Of course, student of Dave Sr. We've already addressed this. Playing the Cerberus up against Insomnia.
Very interesting to see where these players are going to wind up. GunTeR Warrior in the middle lane on the Agni. Starting off with that Book 2 rush that we see so often. Same across the street with Jose on the Freya. So everything's standard, I think, as far as where these mages are concerned. I wouldn't expect to see anything too different from anything. Not even just outside of the mages. Anything on this board.
Not at all. So we're going to be going right into that Book of Soft Rush. We see that Tier 2 start be relatively common nowadays. A lot of power once you get that finished off and fully stacked. Sort of a nice bank that you can work into once you start getting those beats online. So might not be seeing a ton of aggression right out the gate, but already both these mages cleared up in level 2 and ready to rock.
So I'm looking at this duel lane, and right away I'm seeing a world where I think the Anhur is going to look strong for now, even though it's kind of tough against the Terra. But I think late game, that this Terra-Jing combination might be a little bit powerful.
I think so too. And even though I think that they're going to certainly have fine presence later on her, not nearly as entirely early game as it used to be.
Sure.
And Amaterasu Dazzling Offensive is still very, very good. But I mean, it kind of feels like if they don't establish lane pressure, there wasn't much point to drafting this kind of duo lane. I mean, Amaterasu on her into just about anybody should be able to kind of bully them around.
I like Amaterasu in general, so I'm always happy once I see the character picked. I think she has tremendous self-sustain, but not only there, she also auras are really, really important for the rest of the team as the game gets later and later. So I think she's a character that kind of does her, if you will. She doesn't just focus on helping her teammates because it just sort of happens, and I think that's a very nice look for a support who also has a plethora of other options, silences, initiations, etc. at her disposal.
And that's a good point. She's probably not going to have a ton of peel available to her. I mean, you'd much prefer, I think, Dazzling Offensive to be used as an aggressive tool than to be trying to protect someone. The silence is nice, but maybe not the best. So that's why they have, like this Agni who can dash away. They have Raiden as the Desert Fury and a leap of his own. They have a composition that's relatively defined, I would say, at keeping themselves safe and also have plenty of aggression from their front line, too.
Left side again, still looking at this duo lane. I want to see aggression come out from the Anhur player. I mean, here we're going to get some from the opposite direction. Insomnia doing a good job of cutting down Wormy.
Yeah, Wormy taking quite a bit of poke. He is an Amaterasu, so he might not mind, and does still have some health potions available to take for him as well. This has created some space for them to go for that purple buff invade. It looks like OhMyJhox best wants to at least be nearby for it, but one more time, purple buff successfully taken away. Can't quite tell if they have it all the way dropped yet, as it looks like Insomnia are going to grab it for themselves.
I just say a little bit of a half invade there. And the rest going to be taken care of by Imnsonia. So.
Yeah, get them smalls, baby.
GunTeR hitting level 5 nice and early. I want to see Agni now get aggressive. Only level 3 here on the dual lane, though. So Wormy getting knocked up and unable to really find follow. As Riding gets hit with the Terra stun after the fact. Something that I think is totally fine. Imnsonia are going to look to fight this, but I want to see Bulldog, instead of jump backwards and get stunned, I want to see them jump forward and look for the knockup and the impale and all this nonsense. I mean, I get it. Beast can be a beast. He's going to be able to dash out of the knockup from the Anhur jump. But look around for the pillar impale. Look around for just the body blocks. There's still a lot that this dual lane can do, and Bulldog shying away from it.
It is Beast. I said best. It's Beast, isn't it?
It's
like the 4 like an A.
Yeah.
OhMyJhox. I think it's OhMyJhox Beast, right?
Yeah.
That's my guess.
Who is OhMyJhox an anime?
Not that I know. But you know me. I'm not a weeb.
That's a lie.
I do.
I figured you knew like the anime things.
I mean, yes, I watched like a lot of Johnny Quest when I was growing up. Yeah.
Raided in trouble, jumping away, but nice follow. All right, so easy exit there. Anhur probably should have died, but Wormy just played really good defense, keeping his teammate away from trouble.
And that's huge. Riding being able to get out of there. Any more trouble. We'll take a look at our mid lane mages, though, Tom. They got a bit of a difference of opinion, it would seem, on how to get things started. Jose went right ahead to finishing off that Book of Thoth, but not the call from GunTeR. He's finished off his boots, gonna have some extra cooldown, mobility available to him, but it's gonna be probably a good bit behind in terms of stack. Which
is funny because I would probably paint this in the other direction. One, as a Freya, I want to have mobility first and foremost.
And looks like there could be a bit of trouble, though, on the right-hand side. Serqet drops down the last breath. That should be enough. It's ticking all the way through, but Sprint comes through the jump. Does it? DaveJr. stomps him out.
I'm telling you right now that Serqet is angry. Arya could have gotten that kill just with tick damage alone. DaveJr. really forces it, takes away the kill.
Well, again, Dave Sr. teaches that you do overkill before you do underkill.
Better safe than sorry.
Yeah,
I respect it. I respect it. No, I think Dave makes the correct call. But Arya's still heated.
Sure. I'm just saying that Dave Jr. didn't even have a choice there. He learned those teachings from the master and is enacting them here in practice.
There it is.
Something that you kind of have to do over here on the solo side.
I suppose.
As he's now a little bit out in front of Digit here on the solo lane, which is probably okay, I would imagine, for this Sobek, right? You're not feeling too bad if you take an early spill or 2. Just to certainly don't want to let it get off the rails as OhMyJhox might become for the wraparound. A 3-man banish into the Earth and Fury should certainly spell the end for someone. GunTeR Warrior falls first. Dazzling offensive doesn't find Jhox. Wormy turns around, could be in trouble, but ends up falling to Jose.
Yeah, Jose is going to be able to pick up the secondary kill. Nice job from Imnsonia. And I think that was all credit to Jose right there. Mr. Aito just picks up 3 players with the banish.
It should be the last one we see.
Yeah.
There should be no more 3-man banishes all game.
Yeah, that was troublesome. Ooh, nice heads-up play there, though, for the Freya.
And I mean, if they're going to stack up, then Jose should keep doing it. I'm not talking about my man.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if you're Bulldog, you should go, okay, that is the last one that ever happens to us. Because it's a small area, man, that banish hits. And perfect rotation over from OhMyJhox on the back end to capitalize. I thought he'd be able to find a little bit more. The Typhoon came out a little later than I was expecting, but at least finding those 2 kills.
Just trying to keep everybody, I guess, at a distance, but at the same time, you want to nurture the players that are going to put you ahead. So start looking for the Freya kills, start looking for the jungle kills as well. And then as time continues, maybe show some love to your hunters. Kino now locked up. There's trouble.
Yeah, stun will land on the Kino. Banish was there in just a moment, but looks like it wasn't quite necessary from Jose. Blue buff invade, though, is going to be the call. Deathbane puts good damage into Jhox, but he gets away from Stygian Torment. They'll have to turn to the Sobek instead. But Arya wants nothing to do with it. Lurking in the waters is a problem, and he gets on out of it.
Yeah, DaveJr. a little bit slow. Hunter versus Hunter. And the ultimate on a beast is going to be totally fine.
Sorry. There's nothing wrong with that name. I don't know why I'm laughing.
So I'm not joking around. Is OhMyJhox the anime thing?
Oh, if it is, I don't know.
Is it the anime?
Wait, so you led in with the I'm not joking, but now I think you're joking.
I mean, I'm not joking. I would never joke about the
So,
anime.
I overreact a lot. And I think it's...
That is the understatement.
and it's true. But what really tilts me is when you say, I'm not kidding, and then kid. Because now I'm confused. I'm a robot guy, and I took the first thing, and now I don't know what to do with the new information.
I wasn't kidding, but I was still jovial about my serious affirmation.
But then you gave me the look that says, yeah, I got you. Yeah, that look right there. You knew what you did.
Well, I mean, I can still be serious and get you. It doesn't take much to get you, John Finch.
Yes, I've acknowledged
I've funched you one more time.
It's not, like you said, it's not particularly difficult. As Raiden's going to come out and grab his own purple buff. Still, this game a bit slow at the beginning, which is fine for these teams. I don't think anyone has particular onus to act immediately. These comps, at least for my money, all do fine late. Freya, certainly with some items online, is going to be bringing in the pain. Same for an Agni. So maybe a little bit more on Bulldog. Their carries aren't quite as late as I would say as Imnsonia, but they could still swing at any point.
Possible. Early game, I think, kind of run by the Hunter and the jungle right now. So everybody on Imnsonia and Bulldog kind of keeping it close to the chest, not getting too aggressive. Bulldog, however, has been in the enemy blue buff pretty much the entire time, and I applaud that. Jose Raito going to be in some trouble. Put a nice lift. Keeps the Agni at bay.
But look at the response from Imnsonia. They go right to the Gold Fury. Raiden is nearby, has Desert Fury, can certainly try and contest once this one gets low, but he drops the pillar, and Imnsonia dropped the Gold Fury.
Just like that.
That was all that it took to get them to back off it, but now they're going to look for the fight. Bulldog are moving forward, but Imnsonia have essentially left. Nothing much more comes from it.
So Raiden drops the pillar, and immediately you've got to be scared because Disperse is going to knock multiple players up, which could knock multiple players out of the zone, which means multiple players are going to leash the Gold Fury anyway. Then, of course, you have the Impale, which leads to a stun, which is a kill if somebody else on his team is lurking around the corner. Worst case scenario, or best case scenario for Imnsonia, Desert Fury almost steals the Gold Fury and doesn't. That is the best case, you know? So Imnsonia go, look, it's troublesome to deal with. We could send somebody to zone out the Anhur, but we'd better just it's not a big deal. It's 10 minutes in. It's not worth that much anyway.
And I like Raiden showing presence there because
I love it.
Initially he was waiting as if he was going to use Desert Fury to try and steal us. Arya might be going in for a gank attempt here in just a moment. Raiden even backbaiting, but Beast's not going to fall for that. He's been around the block too many times here. But instead of going, maybe I steal it with Desert Fury, he decided to try and force them off it right away, which is still... Right. Stealing is probably the best case scenario, but only a hair underneath it is just putting a stop to it, full stop.
And the best case scenario is stealing it with a success chance of maybe 60%, and this is a success chance of 90% of just chasing them off, right? So, you know, just a better thought process there and a more effective decision tree coming out from the Hunter off of Bulldog Esports. Kudos to him.
Gonna be the idea. Take a look at these two supports. Kino is prioritizing the Lotus Crown. No big surprise on these Terras. It's real easy to get that proc off for her. But Wormy, on the other hand, is working into some magic defense, so maybe worried about Jose and Kino a bit much in this situation. I mean, is he not running into Beast or JhoX enough to where he's worried about going in that route first?
We'll have to keep our eye on that one and see where it goes in. Gold Fury here, pulled out by Bulldog. And yes, it did kill off the pillar. So Raiden not going to have that cooldown for a number of seconds.
Gotta watch that placement as Kino is the one that gets isolated down. Last Breath is already putting in the hurt, so it's Deathbane, but it's Arya who ends up paying the price. Raiden finds Kino as well to make it 1-for-1 so far. Pulls back in GunTeR, and JhoX finds a kill of his own, but now he's trapped between 3, and he finds an escape path that's through, and now they can turn to DaveJr.
There's going to be one kill for Beast. Imnsonia still looking for the chase. The lift is good. They didn't expect the beads, but the beads came late, so oh well. Raiden has to jump away, but the Imnsonia team will look for the Gold Fury after the fact. Although the Amaterasu is here.
Oh no. Oh no. Impale very cleanly sets that up. Now a chance to perhaps impact the Gold Fury, which Imnsonia are still holding at this point. Imnsonia do secure it, and now Wormy is in a bad part of town, is going to chase Dances for the heal, but is a little bit slower. Great Impale to clear them out, and Wormy makes it out A-okay.
Yeah, just wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. AC1 Wormy. I like that.
Do you?
It was a plane, the AC-130. So AC1 Wormy is kind of a play on that. You don't think it's a play on that? I mean, it could be. The AC130 is...
I didn't say it couldn't be.
Then,
but I do not think that it is.
All right. You think Kino has to do with the numbers game? Think he's playing Kino at his deli?
I do.
I don't think that's...
I just like how many O's there are, so I can say, Kino! 1992. I assume that's when he was born.
Probably. Jose, probably born 2001, you think?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Arya, born in the year 3.
Yes, that's clear. Arya's been around for a long time. Very good at Smite now. Not, you know, obviously that whole time wasn't practicing Smite, but just gamesmanship in general, you know?
I bet Arya's really good at Go.
Yes. One of the older games. Stun doesn't land on Jox, which is fortunate, as GunTeR Warrior was right there with his own bombs over the wall to try and follow up. Big rotation from Imnsonia. DaveJr has to be careful. That is his jump down. Stun lands, but they don't want to commit too hard onto the tanky Cerberus. Level 15 is this solo laner. Tremendously far out in front of Digit, actually. The Sobek.
Arya looking for the damage onto the Hunter. Interesting interaction there. The damage from Last Breath does go off. No kill just yet. Arya looking for the retreat. Just going to farm up the jungle. Doesn't want to involve herself in the fight that Bulldog Esports is looking like they're trying to start.
I would want to fight too right now. If DaveJr is going to be a part of it, then try and start these fights. He's so far ahead. They have the tier 1 tower over there already. I assume those repeated blue buff invades were a nightmare for Digit to try and deal with, as Dave jumps in one more time and gets a wall for his trouble, but he can shrug it off. Stun and bombs all there. Kino falls very, very quickly. Wormy is the one that gets the last shot, and Bulldogs can retreat, but not DaveJr.
Nice displacement onto the doggo. Here comes the response, however. Wormy trying to finish it off. The damage will be a little bit to the left. And so digitBloZe will keep on keeping on. No problem for the Sobek player just yet. Raiden, Arya Cruz getting the purple buff invade here on Imnsomnia's side of the duo lane map.
Yeah, man, as long as DaveJr is part of these fights, I want them to keep happening. Bulldog are happily looking for that aggression right now with that bit of an advantage they built up for themselves. And really, everywhere else is relatively close. That's one of the only substantial leads I'm seeing here right now, and Bulldogs are trying to play to it. But there's not much more for them to get on the map right now, so they'll have to slow down a bit, try and keep it farmed up, and know they've got some freedom to move around if they need to.
Book of the Dead, nice choice here for Warrior. He's going to be able to find an exit out of most exchanges just by way of the dash, just because Agni is Agni. But if he does get jumped on, the combination Book of the Dead and the Mana Book as well, Book of Thoth earlier on, this is going to have a really nice interaction, and that shield's going to be really high because you can see high number of mana, but also the stack's going to be mana. It's going to convert mana to power. Each one of these books kind of helps each other. I really like them together.
Maybe he's gonna Kindle though, right?
Possible. Yeah, totally. He'd be able to carry more books.
I think so too. But I guess maybe that's not the play for GunTeR. DaveJr gets pulled in, Typhoon being charged. And it is gonna let him get the knockup off. Does have to expend the beads though to get away from Stitching and Torment. Now it's Jose who's in trouble. The bombs bring him quite low, but they can't follow up, and he will be able to back, but chooses not to.
Yeah. And why do you think he's just sticking around?
It's curious. He knows this fight's happening, so he wants to make sure he's here and a part of it. Wormy going to be the front line for him.
Nice
immediately
play. Following
up is Arya, but Jose deletes Arya immediately from the fight. Good thing he was still around. digitBloZe is low on the backside, but it's the root that lands onto 2, and Imnsomnia want to keep surging.
Meanwhile, DaveJr going to be pulled back in. Nice play by JhoX. DaveJr can't find the stun either. And Imnsomnia, they're a bunch of wounded players still trying to force it.
Really are looking for the fight, but they just don't have enough to lock down anyone in particular right now. Bulldog now have DaveJr back and fully healthy thanks to that teleport, so they're ready to defend, and Imnsomnia might have to give it up here in this situation. Now with a fully healthy DaveJr returning to the fray, Gold Fury will be back amongst us right this moment. Indeed, looks like Bulldog will at least be nearby. They'll grab the oracles and have some vision.
John Finch loves the fray. Imnsomnia here trying to push up by the Gold Fury. Tie game, and that would be a wonderful look for them. Double lift, though. Wormy here gets blocked. He's in trouble. Nice dash away from the support Amaterasu.
Allows them to disengage, at least for now. But again, since they got those oracles, they'll at least know if Imnsonia want to try and rotate over and start bursting down the Gold Fury. They'll have that information so they can feel a little bit more comfortable moving around the map. As for all intents and purposes, it's still virtually even in this game. Can we see those graphs to see if there's a difference in experience that's substantial? Not really. About 2,000, probably mostly just about the solo lane. So certainly Bulldog can still fight this.
Without a doubt. That's the game plan. Imnsonia going to jump over the wall and look for the Gold Fury. Now looking for the team fight. DaveJr. with the ultimate, not going to grab much of anything. And Kino finally going to leash up the big Gold Fury.
It's been dropped, at least for now, but JhoX might need some help. Arya, though, too far forward. At the very least, trades his life out, jungler for jungler. So it's a 4v4. Now it's Bulldog. We're thinking about the retreat. Jumping over the wall, life stealing up what they can, but Gold Fury in the sights of Imnsonia one more time.
But still, this looks like it's there. So many crits coming out across the board. He's here, and this could be a little disruption. Bulldog looking for it.
He's able to find the stun. Jose in trouble. Jose is gone. Imnsonia will grab the Gold Fury, but now will they pay a hefty price on the back end? It looks like they'll only have to give up JhoX and Jose to grab it. Bulldog at least make them pay a little bit with their life bars, but that's about it. A nice gold swing for Imnsonia.
So Bulldog right now, they've got to get better at the target prioritization. Imnsonia are sending them players kind of a little bit too deep, if you will. I need to see them commit onto one of them.
It could be tough for them, though, to try and find the kind of target prioritization that they want. They do have some good tools for controls in the fight, but even once they have them, I mean, do they have enough burst damage that's not just single target to try and take down enough people here in these fights? It's kind of where I'm wondering. If it is going to be single target from them, then you're right, the target prioritization has to be perfect. And because they don't have enough AoE, I feel.
Yeah, I see it. I see it. I was trying to justify maybe the other side of it in my head, but no, I'm with you on that one, Finch. We just have to see them kind of double down and really look for it. Bulldog, though, are going to be the ones that are looking for the Pyromancer here. A nice look, might separate themselves as we've got a very, very tight game.
This is a good call, though, from Pyromancer. They had vision for a moment, but it ended up being more of a 50-50 than they thought. Good confirmed from GunTeR, and now the fight on the back end. DaveJr. already low, but Wormy wants to reinitiate with the dazzling offensive. Blink in from JhoX on the back end, drops the Typhoon, and knocks up two. Pluck is right there in the back end, but it's DaveJr. still tanky and still rolling.
DaveJr. going to find an exit on the left side. digitBloZe, however, being chased up by the Serqet. And to no avail, Bulldog will come up empty-handed.
Boy, we see a lot of punches for no knockouts. I feel like in this set here so far, as Imnsonia are ready to turn around and start looking for the Fire Giant. JhoX not quite in position with them, but it's a bait. They drop it and start looking for the fight. Arya has to use beats early on to ambush away. Two members get knocked up, but it's digitBloZe who's in trouble on the left-hand side. Gunner Warrior brings him down without too much ado. Now a 5v4 in Bulldog favor.
Now, Bulldogs not only control the map, they control the Fire Giant. And looking at the HP bars of some of these other characters, I'd like to see them just go for it.
DaveJr. takes quite a bit of poke on the front end. Arya comes in, but I think body blocked it. Can't get in range for Cobra's Kiss, but JhoX is low, but it's Arya who falls yet again, routinely punished. Is this Serqet? I feel like in these fights, good AoE damage coming out from GunTeR Warrior, but it's not enough.
Just every player 1 inch away from death. Kino can't even go down there. Rough spot there for Bulldog Esports. Not even willing to go for the Fire Giant after the fact. I think this is one of those scenarios where Bulldog just kind of need a little bit more confidence. I mean, they had essentially pushed those players out of the lane. Whether it comes via kills or not, you've got the space, you've got the timing. Go for the Fire Giant. I don't know. That seemed kind of curious from Bulldog.
He elected not to go for it on the back end, as Jose does have to expend the Valkyrie's discretion in response to GunTeR's aggression there in the mid lane. So it'll be on cooldown for a little while longer, but as long as there's no big fights on it, it won't be too big a deal. You should have that up before too long. But yeah, curious exchange around this Fire Giant. So far, these teams seem relatively even. No one's able to find a big kind of just a big advantage in any of these fights so far. A lot of focus onto these solo laners in particular, and no one's really able to burst them down just yet. So until they can get past that front line to some carries, things will stay pretty close.
Yeah, I'm certainly going to keep our eye on how these players are going about it. I think builds are probably the best look. Both these hunters level 20 already. We are 23 minutes in. They're able to kind of go back and forth. But as I said, we've got to look towards the builds. You see crit on Beast and across the way from Raiden, not the same. So what we're looking at of Beast is very different than what we're looking for Raiden. Beast is trying to crit players, looking for assassins, squishies, and just find a couple of shots and blow them on up. Whereas the Anhur guy is going to be looking for the more extended game.
And Arya looking for Jing. OhMyJhox Beast is able to retreat back underneath the tier 1 tower. So that is the blink and ultimate expended from the Serqet without finding very much. Really, OhMyJhox Best is able to calmly not react. In fact, didn't even have the option. No Aegis or beads were there.
Just easily walk-inable. There comes JhoX, looking for one, and GunTeR, he's in trouble. The dash is good, but the Aegis, not good enough. JhoX takes down GunTeR. It's a 1-for-1, though, as the jungler falls to the wayside.
And DaveJr thought about jumping in, but met hands with that Freya and thought differently. Two-man banished means the pluck is going to pull Wormy back in toward the wolves who are hungry and chomping at the bit, but can't quite lock him down just yet. Instead, they'll turn towards DaveJr, who's been knocked up on left-hand side, but somehow still alive. Arya blocks some autos, and DaveJr makes it out.
Insomnia pushing down this mid lane. No real lead to talk about, just the audacity and the confidence to take the opposition in a team fight. They do just that. They initiate correctly, and that leads themselves to a tier 1 tower in the mid, which could and should lead themselves to this gold tier.
Well, it's going to be the Magai's cloak down from Arya at the very least, thanks to the tail whip. But now Insomnia ready to force one more fight. DaveJr and Arya nearby. Wormy on his way as well. No relics available for the Terra or the Terra's blessing, but a two-man banish can make up for just about everything as they get the fight rolling. Three-man Stygian Torment pulls them back in, but no follow-up there.
Backline is where you can find Arya. Jungle Serqet. Dealing some of the damage. Served up and put down. Raiden number 2. Dave doesn't want to get too involved. You can see the damage and the stuns coming out from GunTeR Warrior. Again, keeping the enemy at bay, but now he finds himself in trouble.
GunTeR posted up, but now he's punished. JhoX hunts him down on the backside, no problem. Coming out from the Susano. Arya, though, might have a whole list of problems as he's on the wrong side of town trying to run away, but at this point, he might be far enough. No, he's still lurking. I don't know if they know he's there. This back should go off in time. And the red bus secure, but now Arya decides not to back. Curious.
Ooh, yeah, I don't know. I think that was a mistake.
Very curious.
I just think it was a mistake.
Now trying to decide where to back, and they're going to lock him down. Has Magai's cloak. Vanish won't land on it, and proc it. Aegis actually comes out defensively from Jose. Now Arya is in a real bad spot. Hard to imagine he makes out of this.
I think it was just a mistake. I don't know. Serqet, extremely mobile. Dash gonna miss. Tail whip don't.
Yeah, that back was done.
I don't know what to say.
Could have just finished that.
I don't know what to say. That was just poor play. That was a little rough.
Unfortunately for Arya, whatever led him to decide to stick around ends up punching him on the back end. It does waste quite a bit of time hunting him down, it is true, for just one Serqet who's already kind of behind and has died quite a few times. So maybe his life wasn't as valuable as wasting the time of the rest of Insomnia, but now, without him around, they're just going to start up this Fire Giant, and why not? OhMyJhox Beast is here to start shredding it down. JhoX is on the front line trying to zone him away, but DaveJr undeterred.
Just a little bit of a lead for Insomnia, but the numbers advantage certainly in their favor. 5-4. Wormy has to dash on out. Warlock going to be flipped up back towards the enemy team. Fire Giant still the focus. Fire Giant going to be taken away.
And JhoX finds Raiden on the back end of that as well. So a kill and the objective all for Insomnia, but DaveJr, blood in his eyes, wants to try and punish. Good banish means that now the turnaround's coming out. They want the fight. Instead, DaveJr's got to start running for the hills, and Insomnia are surging forward.
Just looking for the next real big step. Insomnia with 5 players strong. They need some healing, but they'll get a little bit of it by the HP 5. That is the Fire Giant. Just walking up mid. No reason not to. No better places to be. They just have to watch their flank for the inevitable gank from the jungle.
Wormy ends up falling early on that engagement. Arya drops the ultimate to try and find some damage, but Shell comes down. That's going to deter any aggression. Tier 2 tower collected now by Insomnia. They shouldn't have too much trouble pushing forward to this Phoenix either in the 5v3, especially with Arya already expending the ultimate. He's much less of a threat now as JhoX goes in for GunTeR.
And there's the follow-up. Mid lane Phoenix down to about half HP, and that's it. Imnsonia get exactly what they came for, and the Firebird tossed again.
And I wouldn't have said that they won that Fire Giant fight by that large of a margin, to the point where they should be getting a Phoenix on the back end of it. But even though their health bars were low, they very patiently re-aggressed. Staggered respawns from Bulldog kind of hurt as well, and they were able to keep the numbers advantage going in their favor. Now grabbing a Gold Fury on the back end of this as well. Imnsonia have very quickly skyrocketed into the lead.
Yeah, this is kind of what they've been looking for a while. You saw them try to make attempts at it. In the middle lane, it was too early, maybe too many missed abilities, what have you. But now, Imnsonia, they've got the wind in their sails, and this is kind of what they were looking to do at this point. They were looking to really isolate players like this and then find the kills on top of them.
It's worked for them so far. Now they have a chance to go back and spend that 8,000 gold lead or so that they've earned for themselves. Experience has transitioned back into their favor as well. It helps a good bit that JhoX has been able to be consistently ahead of where Arya's been this game, despite the fact that digitBloZe has been struggling a little bit. They've been able to make up for that elsewhere on the map. Now that they've gone back and purchased quite a few big power spike items, they got some tier 2 towers to come collect over in duo and solo.
Itemization coming out from Imnsonia, certainly no surprise. Heartseeker making the debut. Going to be played on the Susano, certainly a nice look there. Again, the book build coming out from Freya.
You like books?
I mean, it depends on the book. I actually don't read too much fiction. I really like boring nonfiction.
I believe that.
I like history, I like psychology, I like philosophy.
Raiden ends up dropping down. Jose happy to send him on his way. DaveJr can no longer afford the front line here, but OhMyJhox Beast jumps in aggressively. They sense that they're the ones in control right now. Ray started moving into the Phoenix area. It's only 4 members left of Bulldog trying to defend. Blink initiation from JhoX is going to start things off. GunTeR Warrior can no longer afford to stand here. Not inside a Typhoon. Aegis keeps him alive for a moment, but the Phoenix is being shredded.
Phoenix goes down. That's going to be the left side bird, and the middle lane already gone. Imnsonia trying to push forward. 5-on-4. Make that a 5-on-3 as the jungler does the business.
Stagey and Torment, DaveJr trying to control things, but GunTeR Warrior not there to follow up either. They pluck him out of the way. He makes it back to the fountain, but they can turn their attention toward the Titan relatively easily. Imnsonia should be able to close out game number 1 here up against Bulldog. It looked close, Tom, for most of the game, but Imnsonia closed it out.
They just decided about 22, 23 minutes in. Imnsonia just decided that they were going to go look for objectives, and that's what they did. There was a lot of this kind of back and forth, and I don't see this enough of these teams just kind of saying, well, all right, if you're not going to, we will. And the lack of aggression coming out from the enemy team was exploitable, and that's what we saw them do.
Yeah, what I would say is that Bulldog backed a little bit too much on the back end of fights, right? It's not even so much that they weren't aggressive, which I think is correct, but I think it's that they would, if a fight went 50-50, they would all leave. And then Imnsonia were like, well, if you're going to leave, we're going to start taking stuff. They would take tier 1 towers, Gold Furies, Pyromancers, and eventually they had just enough to where they could force a Fire Giant. They could start force down middle lane, and the game got away from them.
Map presence just wasn't there because they were able to find themselves at base too many times. They were reloading too often.
On like a mostly full clip.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
I think that was what, they just found themselves without tools most of the time to play defense, and then the enemy team came in, took the objectives, and that was pretty much it.
Well, who was the MVP for you? Go ahead and vote while that makes your poll still fresh on your mind. It's tough to say. Felt like a really strong team effort. I didn't feel like anyone particularly stood out. I liked a lot of what we were seeing, but I don't know if I'd say necessarily that anyone really performed particularly poorly or particularly exemplary.
Yeah, I was looking in the jungle. I thought Susano had a great game. That's always going to be a nice look. Solo lane had a okay performance. I think Susano probably is the only player that comes to mind.
Sure. Yeah, good performance out there. I believe it was JhoX, if that's how we say that. That's just how we've been saying it. I hope that's correct.
Sure.
I mean, if you're going to spell it J-H-O-X.
JhoX.
I'll do my best.
Yeah, JhoX is kind of.
Is that it? Is it a...
That's my understanding of it.
You said it like you were intimately familiar.
JhoX.
And I was like, and maybe you know, but no. That's not going to be the call here. Well, hopefully we'll get a chance to see here in just a moment what y'all's results were from that last one. But...
That's my little brother, actually.
Oh, his name is JhoX?
JhoX. He's playing the Susano.
Oh, he's playing. He's really good. Are you sure he's related to you?
First of all, rude. Second of all, that would actually be against our terms of service. You cannot be affiliated or related to anybody that works.
I mean, it was your joke. Okay,
the,
I agree. It didn't work. JhoX showing us some MVP caliber plays. Looks like Mixer chat agreed with you for the most part there, Tom. So good identification on his strong performance. Even when he was unfortunately taking a couple spills, he was able to make them one-for-one trades like we saw there, able to find the big Typhoons to turn the fights around. That's what I like about the Susano. I think more than anything, he provides really valuable control out of the jungle role.
And surprisingly well for a character that can carry as strong as he can, right? I mean, he looks for the knock-up with the ultimate, and he looks for the pull, which is really impressive. But of course, he has the teleport. He has the ability to teleport by way of the dot, and he has the ability, if you are looking at the basic attacks, to just cut you down. So,
yeah. Big sword. Swings it pretty well.
Yes, he does.
Let's start going then.